When you listen to the show on Wednesday, the Raptors would have hosted the 76ers, and Danny Green will not be in attendance, which means he won't get his ring.
Man.
We are now on 940 or something days since he's gotten it. I'm going to read off some tweets with Raptors fans reacting to the news that ring night is delayed yet again. This one coming from Alexis with the Twitter name Piptal, Piptal. There's a quote, there's a graphic of you, Danny, from the parade, breaking down the news that you're not going to be there. And the tweet says, I know the pandemic is finally over when Danny Green gets his ring.
That might be true. I'm glad that the fans were very supportive. I'm glad we made the call because, we had a feeling that things would be tight because we didn't know what was going to happen. And unfortunately, I did get COVID, so I didn't make the trip at all. But luckily, we postponed it. We let them know. But yeah, it sucks that I wasn't able to make it or get to the city and also not to be able to celebrate and do it the right way this time around yet again. Family and friends are having troubles trying to get across the border. Wife, she got sick. So yeah, it was something that we had to postpone. Then I got sick. So hopefully in April, still part of the Philadelphia 76ers organization and get a chance to celebrate it, and COVID will be over and, we can do it the right way in April.
As I said last week, I hope you win many, 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 many more championships. But if that was the last one, you might as well do it right. Yeah. You got to. The other tweet, similar theme. I got a conspiracy here. This is from Magic Banton. I got a conspiracy here. Danny Green was about to receive his ring before the shutdown happened. I remember that clearly. Yes, I do. Now the only way to end this pandemic is to give Danny his ring, as it is the cure, and we keep on delaying it. I'm not saying this is right, but we don't have many more options left.
Like Thanos, right? We get the ring.
You get the final ring.
We get to cancel out COVID. So we'll see, man. And I'm convinced now at this point too, is that we have April. Hopefully the weather's better. Hopefully things are more open. Hopefully COVID's calmed down a lot more, and we can do it the right way. And hopefully the arena is at full capacity at that point. So I appreciate the support. The tweets have been great. Some of them have been very funny. I know I'm be old, but some showed Lionel Richie saying this how old Danny will be when he gets his ring. Some showed me with a beard. Hopefully it's before then. Hopefully I'm still playing the NBA. But yes, I'm hoping April. So let's just shoot for that and let's just keep our fingers crossed.
Yes, indeed. So for the most part, this is like our Danny's Always Trending segment, but because you were in health and safety protocols, really didn't trend too much because you weren't playing games. However, Danny, there is a sensation that happens on the internet anytime that the Lakers play a game, and particularly when Russell Westbrook does not play well. I don't know if you're aware of this phenomenon, but I am very much aware of it. When the Lakers do not play well, the names Alex Caruso, KCP, Danny Green, a lot of players that were on the championship team, they get mentioned a lot, and people start talking about either Frank Vogel or they haven't really said too much about David Fizdale, but they talk about Rob Pelinka. They talk about LeBron James, the GM, however you want to see it. Either way, they like to reminisce about the other Laker teams that performed well, the ones that didn't have Russell Westbrook, which brings me to the latest quote unquote beef that we have in the NBA. Karl Anthony Towns, who maybe you believe is an all-star this year. We'll see in our final segment. He was with Aiden Ross, a famous YouTuber. I got to get with the kids, with what all the kids are doing, apparently. Aiden Ross asked him about Russell Westbrook. His response, he gets stats. He chases stats. And then he went on to continue to say things along the nature that he plays hard. You know how hard it is to get a triple-double. I, for one, have not been the biggest fan of Russell Westbrook's game because I think his triple doubles have been overrated, but that's a story for another day when we have a little bit more time. Russell Westbrook spoke to the media today. I don't know when the timing was, but it was somewhat ironic that this was his quote. Honestly, I'm over the whole situation with what everyone wants me to do and what they think I should be doing. Russ is fed up. He wants to just play his way, it would seem, or doesn't really care what people have to say. Danny, as a
As he
veteran
should.
of the NBA, as somebody who's played alongside LeBron James, as somebody who I'm sure you just watched intensely the Wizards game last night because you guys were playing against them. What do you think about the Russell Westbrook experiment with the Los Angeles Lakers?
It's hard to tell. So they haven't been 100% healthy, all year. But I thought when it happened, I didn't think it was a good fit because I think there's a lot of guys there that needed the basketball in their hands. And that's not a knock to any one of them. Those guys are great players. I think Russ is a great player too. And said that the criticism that he gets, even though they're bringing our names up, we got that same criticism. And it's funny that you bring up those guys because I had a conversation the other day, like, do you think if you guys brought everybody back, would you guys have made it out the West again the next following year? And I was like, I think if we stayed healthy, it was a possibility. A lot of teams got hurt. Clippers did. Phoenix made it out, but Clippers were one man down. A couple other teams got hurt. I'm trying to remember. Obviously, Golden State was at the tier end of playing games. AD got hurt last year, so that's tough. But I said, I think, if we were healthy, I think that the group that we had that won it the previous year could have made it out the West. But I know Russ, the stuff he's going through, the criticism he's getting, and he should rightfully so just play his game and not worry about it or think about it. But yeah,
Danny, it's not. It's not. Playing for the Lakers is another monster.
It is. It's not your everyday normal organization and not your everyday normal criticism on internet, et cetera. So it's different. You're going to be a different person, different player there just because of how the atmosphere in the organization and just some of the pressure, the outside pressure that is laid upon you. And because you're playing alongside a guy like LeBron James. The Karl Anthony Towns comment, I don't know if Russ just chases stats. I think he does want to win. But just because of how good he is or how easy he makes it look to get triple doubles, I don't think it's overrated, his triple doubles. It's very hard to do that. He's very active and he does a lot on the floor. And I saw a statement that Van Gundy said that, just because you have a triple double doesn't mean you played well.
Thank you, Mr. Van Gundy.
I would disagree.
Thank you, Mr. Van Gundy.
I don't think you could get a triple double and still not play a great game, but I still think you were active. You're very active to get rebounds, assists, and points. You were active. And it might not be a great game, but I think you still played well enough and to get a win. I think it's more important. So you get triple double and win, that's more important. You played it well enough to help your team win. But yeah, so he had his comments I saw, and obviously they're going to blow it up and make it bigger than what it is. He said he does chase ass, but he bigged him up as a player and said he's a great player and how hard it is to get a triple double. It is hard. But yes, I think in that system, we have not seen Kendrick Nunn at full health, THT in and out, Trevor Ariza in and out. There's so many guys they have on roster that have been in and out. AD's been out. Health and safety protocols, the guys have been out. So we have not seen them at 100% full strength. But even before all that, I just think it was a tough fit for them to make work with Bron and Russ, both handling the ball as much as they did, and AD needing the ball in the post as much as he needs it to be efficient. And also the other guys, the pick and roll players, Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, THT, those guys that handle the ball. For them to be effective, Melo, I thought so too. I'm glad he's fitting the way he is because he's just a shooter.
He's built for it.
He's built for it. He can catch and shoot. He can adapt and adjust to be a spacer. The other guys, I don't know if that's their game. So it is an interesting experiment. I don't know how well it's been going. It doesn't seem like it's been going very well, but it's hard to tell. I don't know how long they're going to continue to try to experiment with it, but it'd be interesting to see how they are when they're 100% full health. So, but as of right now, a lot of people, Lakerland, a lot of people around the world are going to say, this is not working out, but I want to see when all their guys are back and see how well they do then.
Year after year, Danny, I just watch what I think are mistakes when fan bases or GMs get overexcited about a player that has a wealth of talent but might not necessarily fit. Evan Fournier has a lot of basketball skills, but he hasn't fit in well with the New York Knicks. Sometimes it's not about the overall things that you could do on the court. It's about how well you could do the things on the court to work with your teammates. The team building aspect is just forgotten every now and again. It's disappointing. And I'll just say my one thing about Russell Westbrook. He is a great player, yes. But as you said, it's just not a great fit. And number two, I still get very much disappointed because he has a lot of defensive lapses that you just wouldn't accept you wouldn't expect from a player of his caliber. I think
A
everybody's
lot of
kind
guys do. Once you get that many
yeah.
years in the league, a lot of guys do. It's harder to keep that up and both ends of the floor at a high clip. Especially he exerts so much energy on the offensive floor. But going back to your Evan Fournier point, I think that he's just having a rough year. But I think his game could fit the style of play with New York. I think it could, but it's tough. They're still figuring out rotations. D Rose has been out. Kemba's been in and out. Point guard wise, quick. I think Evan's got to play with I don't say a certain type of point guard, but I think that group, if they're healthy, and I said Evan maybe having a rough year right now, but if he's playing his game, I think they play very well. When we play them, they play very well. He plays very well against us. So,
yeah, no, it's again just fit matters, guys.
It does.
Not a GM.
And it has nothing to do with the player. A lot of guys are great players that just don't play well in certain systems. And people are like, oh, he can't do this. No, that guy is very capable of doing this, and he's just not with the great group to make him look good. And then some nights, even when you have guys out and hurt, safety protocols, it's harder to have other guys thrive or play their normal games because they're used to playing with a certain group of guys. They're used to getting certain shots, certain open looks, certain, now they have to do more or do less or not getting as many rhythm looks or rhythm shots. So it's tougher to get a rhythm. So that's one of the things that a lot of fans don't understand. I would say your average fan, but some basketball fans do understand it. Some people that study the game, but these guys are still very good players. They're just, some of them don't fit in the right system or just in a system that is not set up for them to thrive. And that could be from a coaching standpoint too. They could be set up to fail. You never know.
Yep. Thank you, Danny, for introducing this thing that I'd like to call nuance to the basketball discussion around Russell Westbrook.
If you want more Inside the Green Room, check us out on social media or on the SiriusXM app.